Hello and welcome to Amrita by the Book. My name is Amrita and today I'll be doing a book tag that's not really a book tag. It's just something that I saw over on Lana's channel. I'm going to link down to her video below. But I think what happened was that she came across this list of questions and she thought it was fun and she made a video, and I thought she was right. It is fun. So I wanted to do them too. Right, number one is a book that a certain friend is always telling you to read. And what a perfect question this is to start off this tag, because it's Lana who keeps telling me to read this book called Captive Prince. I believe it's a trilogy and it's about the prince of a country whose half-brother takes over the throne and then sells him into slavery, and he ends up at an enemy court and I guess is either a sex slave or falls in love with the crown prince of that land, except now he needs to hide his identity because, you know, they're like enemies, but also he's in love with him, and oh my god, the angst. There are about 100 ways that this story could go absolutely wrong, but I trust Lana, and I've seen a lot of people on Bookstagram, especially Bookstagram, but also on Booktube, just rave about this series. So I know it's definitely something that a lot of people love, and it's on my list for the year. Number two, a book that's been on your TBR forever and yet you still haven't picked it up. I mean, this is a very long, very sad tale because I have so many books that I have promised myself that I will read and that I'll read now. I have bought because I thought that, oh, now is the time, and then something comes along and it gets pushed down the line. And I try not to think about it too much because every day, like literally every day, I'll find something that someone has suggested and then it'll go directly on my wish list. And at this point, it's ridiculous. But I've made my peace with it. So this is called Who Owns the Future by Jaron Lanier. So for those of you who don't know, Jaron Lanier is often called the father of virtual reality, and he wrote this book years ago about how digital networks are impacted and impact in turn our lives and our economy, and how we are not even aware of the way that it is transforming our lives, and about the way that money is used and power is used and gained and lost, and how it affects us on a day-to-day level. And it sounds like a fascinating book, and I feel like a lot of the things that he discussed in that book have largely been borne out by the events of the past few years. So he's definitely a forward thinker and he really understands this stuff. So I'm still debating whether I should go back and reread it because I think I started it and then I stopped it for reasons I don't remember. But maybe I should just read something that he's written that's more current, because it's all bad news. I just need to know, you know, which bad news I should focus on right now. A book in a series you have started but haven't gotten around to finishing yet. Right, this is easy. It's Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. It's the latest in his big magnum opus, and it has, wait, big magnum opus? What? That's some real chai tea energy right there. It's the latest installment in his magnum opus, and I haven't gotten around to it because I am saving it, and it is a giant door stopper. So I know I'll need some time and some mental energy before I get into it, and I have neither right now. So I'm just waiting, and I'll finish it sometime during this year, and that will be great. A classic you've always liked the sound of but never actually read. Okay, this question was really tough for some reason because I was just thinking, what do you mean by a classic? Like, do you mean something that is a little bit older, or it's something, you know, from the modernist era, okay as well, because there's a lot of stuff that's been published in the 20th century that I haven't read, but a lot of the 19th century classics are stuff that I grew up reading, so there isn't much there. But generally when people say classics, they mean something older than the 20th century. So I really thought about it, and I thought about going with something that Thomas Hardy had written, because I've only read like one of his works, and quite honestly I didn't want to read any others, and I realized that the prompt was that it's something that I want to read, and no, I don't want to read any of them. My one big choice would have been War and Peace, I think, but as of last year, I've been reading it. Thanks to Lana. Again, this entire tag is about Lana, I feel. So that is off the table, but I haven't finished it, so I guess that works. So yeah, my choice will be War and Peace. Next is a popular book that it seems everyone but you have read. My choice for this is 5, which is this book about the women murdered by Jack the Ripper. And everybody I know who reads nonfiction has been raving about it. Everybody on my Bookstagram has read it. I have seen so many people talk about it, like even people who don't read nonfiction have been raving about this book, and it sounds amazing, and I will read it. I like true crime. I was obsessed by Jack the Ripper as a child because that's the kind of child I was, and I like the angle that this book is taking by focusing on the women rather than the man who murdered them. So this fits for me in so many different ways. I actually don't know why I haven't read it as yet. Next is a book that inspired a film or TV adaptation that you really love, but you just haven't read it yet. Again, my instinct for this was to go for something 19th century, but then I realized one of my favorite series was actually adapted from a book that I've meant to read but haven't gotten around to, and that's Friday Night Lights. Now, on the surface, this is a series that anyone who knows me would be surprised that I love, because it's about football, like small town American football, all things that I don't care about. But if you have watched the series, you know how it is legitimately one of the greatest shows ever screened on American TV. The stories it told, the people it presented, the relationships it portrayed, all of it is amazing. The casting was so perfect, and there's a scene in the first season. And you know, I love the first season, like I saw all of it and I fell progressively in love with it. But there's a season towards the end where they're at the championship and they can't believe they're at the championship. And Coach and Tammy Taylor are talking to each other, and she tells him that she's pregnant and it's an unexpected pregnancy. And she just tells him flat out, you know, like, I'm pregnant. And he looks at her and he immediately, like, he was so worried a moment before and he was pensive and he was thinking about something, and his face just changes and he just smiles and he says, "What?" And then she's relieved because he's happy about it, and she wasn't sure, even though she was like 90% sure, you know, because that's just the kind of guy he is. And I fell in love with both of them so hard in that moment. And I feel like one of the reasons why I haven't read the book is because I know that the book can never have that kind of intimacy or that portrayal of intimacy in the characters that it's talking about. It's probably really just about the town and the college team, not the college team, the high school team. And that's fine. Like, I feel like I have an affection for this town and this team that was engendered in me by the show, and maybe it will cross over to the book. But that's also the reason why this book is not a must read for me. It's just a want to read for me. So yeah, if you haven't watched the series, I highly, highly recommend it. I don't know where it's streaming, but wherever it is, it's good. A book you see all over Instagram but haven't picked up yet. Ready? A Crown of Thorns and Roses. I know. I have never felt more left out of the conversation than the fact that I haven't read A Crown of Thorns and Roses. I remember joining Bookstagram and everybody was talking about ACOTAR and I was just like, what the hell is that? It took me a while, you guys. Also, I read Crescent City, which is the other, oh wait, is it called that? Is it called, I think it's called something else, but anyway, the Crescent City series by Sarah J Maas, and I think that was her first adult fantasy and I didn't really care for it, but I feel like maybe that's because YA and adult fantasy have a slight difference in tone, so maybe I'll prefer ACOTAR. ACOTAR? Do people call it ACOTAR? I call it ACOTAR in my head. I have not read the ACOTAR, but I will read the ACOTAR because I own the ACOTAR. At this point, I don't even care if I like it or I hate it. I just want to know what everyone is talking about. Are you a rabid ACOTAR fan? Because I have found them in the unlikeliest of places, and if you are, please do yell at me in the comments. That will motivate me to read it. Right, so that was my book tag. That is not a book tag. Thank you all for watching, and I'm not tagging anyone because this actually is not a book tag. It's just a fun list of questions that I got from Lana, who got it off some site. Once again, check out her video below because she has some great answers for it as well. And if you like the questions and you would like to continue this non-tag tag, then please feel welcome and let me know so I can come and check out your video as well. Or if you're not, on BookTube, then you can do it down in the comments below, or you can do it on your Bookstagram, you can do it on Twitter, wherever. Just let me know so I can come see what you have got for your responses. As always, thank you for watching. If you like this content, hit the subscribe button. Check out my playlist. Do whatever you want. We survived 2020. We earned doing whatever we want. For more videos, please hit the subscribe button.